Dear children, today we will see the last part from your this lesson. Okay, I hope you have revising the properties of metals and non-metals, the reactions which I have taught you yesterday, day before yesterday. Okay, so let's start with the last part from this chapter, that is what is the type of the reaction. We are going to see one type of the reaction which takes place in our daily life. So that is your displacement reaction. So what is meaning of the displacement reaction? Displacement reaction, in the name itself you can see displace means what? In this type of reaction we are having more reactive metal which displaces the less reactive metal, or we can say the least reactive metal in your aqueous solution. Aqueous solution means what? We are having aqua regia. Aqua means what? Water region. Okay, so what is the definition of your displacement reaction? The reaction in which more reactive metal displaces the less reactive metal in aqueous solution. That type of reaction it is called as displacement reaction. But if it is there, suppose reaction is taking place and we are having the less reactive metal, but less reactive metal cannot displace the more reactive metal. Only if there is more reactive metal, it is made up of the solution, then only it will replace the less reactive metal. But less reactive metal cannot displace the more reactive metal. This you have to keep in mind. Okay, so we will see this displacement reaction with the help of an activity. The activity is given in your textbook. So for this activity what you have to do is you have to take 100 ml of beakers, 500 ml of beakers you have to take. Then you have to label them as A, B, C, D and E. Now what you have to do is what you have to add into that. In each of the beaker, in each of the 5 beakers you have to add 50 ml of water. Okay, and dissolve that in each beaker a teaspoon of each substance which is indicated in your figure. I will show you which substance you have to add along with the water. Then after that what you have to do is you have to keep that beakers undisturbed for some time and you have to record your observation. Okay, see, so what we will do is in this experiment, in this activity, here you can see how many beakers are there. 5 beakers are there, A, B, C, D, E. We have labeled them as A, B, C, D, E. Now what they have told you, you have to add first 50 ml of water in each beaker. Then you have to add 1 teaspoon of which solution in beaker A? Copper sulfate. In second beaker, copper sulfate. In third beaker, zinc sulfate. In fourth beaker, iron sulfate. And in fifth beaker, again zinc sulfate. So this 1 teaspoon of solution you have to add, powder you have to add. After that, in beaker A, again you have to add some zinc granules, pinch of zinc granules. Then 1 iron nail in beaker B. Third, copper turnings, that is copper particles in your beaker C. In beaker D, copper turnings. In beaker E, again you have to add iron nail. Now what you have to observe is once you will add this all the solutions, that means let me revise once again. In beaker A what we have did, 50 ml of water. Here you can see I have given you what solutions we are adding. 50 ml of water plus copper sulfate powder plus zinc granule. So can you see when you will add all these constituents, what is the color of the solution? Color of the solution is blue, because you are knowing that copper sulfate is blue in color. Copper sulfate powder, when dissolve it into the water, it gives you the blue colorization. So in first beaker you will observe the blue colorization of the solution. In second beaker what we have did, we have added 50 ml of water plus again copper sulfate, but instead of zinc granules now what we are adding iron nail, that is Fe we can say, because what is the formula of iron? Fe. I told you to remember this formula along with the symbol and names also. So iron nail we are adding, that means what we are adding, which element we are adding? iron, that is Fe, capital F and small e you have to write. Okay, then what is the color of that second beaker? Again you will have the solution color is equal to blue colorization. Then beaker C, zinc sulfate plus 50 ml of water plus copper turnings. Can you see in beaker C the solution is colorless one. The solution has not changed its color. Then in beaker D, iron sulfate 50 ml of water and copper turnings. Can you see what is the color of the solution? It may be brown colorization. And in beaker E, what we are adding 50 ml of water, zinc sulfate and iron nail. What is the color of the solution? Colorless. Now what they have told you, when you will add this all the solutions into the beaker, what you have to do, you have to keep them undisturbed, keep them left as undisturbed for some time, let's say for 1 hour or for 2 hours. So after 1 or 2 hours, what you have to observe is, does the color of the solution is changed or not? So the color has the color of the solution has changed in all of the beakers or in which of the beakers, that you have to observe. So here I have given you the diagram also. Can you see in first beaker where we have added the zinc granules and copper sulfate, the solution has turned into the red, that is at the base of the beaker or at the bottom of the beaker you can see copper is getting deposited. They have written the copper and zinc sulfate solution. Okay, why they have written there ZnSO4? Because see, copper when it is getting deposited at the bottom of the beaker, it will give you the red colorization once the reaction is done. Second is, in second beaker, can you see we are forming the FeSO4, new substance we are forming, because already you have studied the chemical reaction definition. What is it? The reaction in which new substances are getting formed. So here also we are forming the FeSO4, and can you see copper, it is in your green colorization. It will give you the green colorization due to your iron, that is your Fe. And in beaker C, D and E, you are having no colorization, that is color of the beaker has not changed. Okay, so this is about your experiment. Now in first beaker, when I have told you, we have taken copper sulfate solution, that is blue in color, CuSO4, this formula and the reaction also you have to remember. Plus zinc, we have added zinc granules. So what is the formula of zinc? Zn. It will give you the formation. Now here you will see displacement. What is the reaction, definition of the displacement reaction? The most reactive or more reactive metal displaces the least reactive metal. So here can you see copper is a metal and zinc is the metal. So zinc will be displaced by your copper, as zinc is higher reactive than your copper metal. So how the reaction will take place? Only Cu will be replaced by your zinc. So what will be your reaction? ZnSO4, that will be giving you the colorless solution, plus copper, that is in red in color. At the bottom of the beaker you are finding that copper which is red in color. So this is your first reaction in case of beaker A. Now in beaker B, what we have taken? Copper sulfate blue plus iron nail we have done. So iron nail, what is the formula of iron? Fe. So here also iron is highly reactive than copper, so it will get displaced by your copper metal. So instead of CuSO4, what we will write now? What new product we will get? FeSO4 plus Cu, but that Cu will give you the green colorization. Okay, so this is your second reaction. And in all the three beakers, why the reaction has not takes place, or why the color of the solution has not takes place? Because in that case we are not having the more reactive metal, because in the reaction we want the more reactive metal who displaces the less reactive metal. But in all the three beakers, in case of C, D and E, we are having less reactive metal that cannot be displaced by the more reactive metal. So the reaction has not takes place in all that three beakers. Okay, now here I have told you, here I have given you the reactivity says how you have to remember. See, most reactive metal is your potassium, then sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, carbon, zinc, iron, tin, lead, hydrogen, copper, silver and gold. So here you can see we are having the copper and the iron metal, right? So copper, can you see from the bottom, third number is that is copper and iron. So why it is getting displaced? Because iron is more reactive than copper, so it is getting displaced. But instead of you are having the, you have taken the zinc and you have taken the copper, but it cannot be displaced. Okay, so here reactivity series you can remember. Here they have given you short form how to remember. Please stop calling me a careless zebra, instead try learning how copper saves gold. So in this manner you can remember this reactivity series for solving the reaction. Okay, now last point, that is what are the uses of metals and the non-metals. So we are knowing already the properties of the metals. They are generally hard, malleable, ductile and sonorous. So these metals generally can be used for making machineries, making automobiles, trains, aeroplanes, making cooking utensils and water boilers, etc., making industrial gadgets and satellites, etc. Now what about the non-metals? Non-metals also have the several uses. They are essential for the life, such as oxygen. They are used as fertilizers such as nitrogen and phosphorus in your soil. Then used to purify water such as chlorine, because we are adding the chlorinated tablet or chlorine, okay, solution. Third, it is applied on wounds as an antiseptic lotion, such as purple colored iodine solution, and is used in crackers such as your sulfur. Okay, so when we are talking about these metals and the non-metals, I'm talking about many of the times elements, because these are the elements. Your iron, copper, you are having your gold, your silver. These are the elements. We are calling them either as a metals or the non-metals, because this element, when we are talking about, these are also consisting of the smallest unit, and that smallest unit we are calling them as a atoms. Okay, so when we are dividing these elements in your nature, naturally found elements are up till now are 92. So we are having 92 elements which are naturally occurring elements, and these elements then get divided into metals, non-metals and the metalloids. Okay, metals properties already you are knowing, non-metals also you are knowing. Metalloids means what? Those who are carrying the properties of both metals as well as your non-metals. In your periodic table or in 92 elements, when I am talking about, most of them are the metals. Only few, that is less than 20, maybe that will be your non-metals, and rest of them, few of them are the metalloids. But in 92 elements, over the 92 elements, you are having most of the metals, and that we are using for the in your everyday life, both metals as well as your non-metals. So what points you have to remember in this lesson? That is, metals are lustrous in nature, non-metals are have no luster, that is shiny appearance. Second, metals are malleable and ductile, non-metals do not have these properties. Then metals are good conductor of heat and electricity, but non-metals are poor conductors of heat and electricity. And what about then reactions? On burning with metals, react with oxygen to produce metal oxides, which are basic in nature, and when non-metals react with oxygen, that is with the presence of air, it produces non-metallic oxide, which are acidic in nature. Next, some metals react with water to produce metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Here when they are producing the metal hydroxide and hydrogen gas, that means what? They are producing the pop sound. Okay, pop sound means what? The crackleness sound you are getting here, you are hearing when you are burning the mastic. Okay, so generally non-metals do not react with water. Metals react with acids and produce metal salts and hydrogen gas. Generally non-metals do not react with acids. Some metals with bases are producing the hydrogen gas. Most reactive metal displaces less reactive metal from their compounds in aqueous solution. and these metals and non-metals are widely used in our everyday life. So here we have finished with our chapter. I hope all of you have understood this chapter well. Please go through the chapter, that is you have to read the chapter very thoroughly, so that each and every concept and point you will get it here. And now I'm sending this video also and exercise PDF also, so please copy down only the descriptive type question answers in your notebook. Don't write objective type question answers in your notebook, just go through that objective type question answers. Okay, so we will see the next lesson in the next video. Thank you dear children.